I didn't even show up on that. I'll go try and make sure they're getting. The plumbing electrical did not appreciate
You're right.
this. Very scary.
Yeah, I mean,
Treated.
yeah, they like one out of 50 chance, two of them, the two are next to each other.
Okay.
75 really broken down.
So do we need to?
You ready?
Guys,
Okay, let's start.
are the guys dialing in? Or?
What should be like 20 cases?
It goes back to our conversation.
Oh, sure. They were,
But I would walk you through the process of it with our keys and other things that turn it into a real product. This particular tag is blank, other than the fact that it does have the tag's firmware on it, because that's another step equipment you have to bring. This is a tag made by Eon Microelectronics.
We can tell us during.
Around it's microelectronics. We will ultimately buy just the die. Just package it and then like a stick-on inlay or a washable tag for sews or uniforms.
and we were testing the printing, so it normally won't be on both sides, and they were with.
Has NFC and around phone to up the card, microphone with a phone. Today I'm going to use this device. This is a USB-based NFC reader writer peripheral, and this has slightly longer read range. But read range isn't the name of the game in NFC technology.
We actually, say you can hold it up. Right. You can see the screen.
No, right. So on the board here, sort of a flow diagram of this with a blank tag, and the very first thing we do is put it out, and then we vision it with this is using an 8051 microprocessor, 8-bit microprocessor. So we provision it with the 8051 code that we've written for this particular tag. That is done with we wrote in-house called, and that's the device that puts the private key on. Customer verify signet, only call signature injector. Yeah, also with an image file and some other notational data.
So they would buy the keys first and they provision.
Data.
Send them the key.
Well, the private keys are already on the tags. So we just need to give them the public keys.
And EM Micros have the private, they put the private keys on.
No, we do that.
Right. What if we have 200,000 customers?
Well, that's what Lewis was talking about before.
Well, then we might,
Then they will.
then we would ask them.
Or we contracted them to do it. And that's when we would need to create one more piece of this. That basically, we need to take that key and make it a little more push out to someone like EM or a potential third party.
Exactly. We create a compliance, secure key inject compliance, not only we get control of the process. But I'll actually show you all the steps minute.
Currently done in-house. And the ways being done.
When I talk about provisioning, in all cases, we're writing files to the tag. So this particular tag has a real file system on it, and we can write individual files. In some cases, they're write once only. Once they're written, you can never read them back, like the private key. In other cases, you can write and read multiple times. This particular tag has 120 gigabytes of flash memory. Fabulous for a little like this. It also has in the 8051 core, there's hardware accelerator. I think it has something like 8 KB of RAM. Has lots of resources. I mentioned earlier that this is one of the more expensive tags at maybe 60, 70 cents a piece, as opposed to pennies for some of these dumb. This is just over here. You want me to be like?
No, I want.
Just go over there. Now we're outside the cars.
I'll do this. Will be good.
Yeah, let's not discuss the project now. Let him finish the demo. We can talk about the questions after we record this.
So I won't go over all these files, but you can see that there's a number. Some of these you recognize very well, of course, the t-values and so on. Some of them are just like general purpose files that we put on board for customer use. This is sort of, and in some cases, we modify this a little bit based on the customer's requirements. Okay, so the first step in the process, and by the way, Paul, is on a very underpowered laptop. Normally I have a very powerful workstation, so I hope it works. The very first step, once the firmware is put on the tag, is to inject the private key and to create and inject the tag's hardware ID. So we do that again with this peripheral device.
Show the device. You can see that, great.
It's a USB device plugged into my PC here. And I read the text there. And the way this works is that I'm getting, now ultimately this piece of equipment is going to generate all the key sets internally, but we're not there yet. So for now, Derek and they come in as a password a network, the network. And I pull down the keys, in this case, you want key2. And the program, the next key pair that's available, once it's injected, the program deletes it from the NAS device, so we can never use it again. So this number 28 means that this is a 28th key pair that I'm using to inject. And it gives me a shot of the first part of the public key, the identifier. So I just have to tag. In this case, it's 10.5. I write the key. PC drives the reader to write and the tag ID onto the tag, and then I see here that it has been completed successfully. And there's a lot going on that you didn't see behind the scenes, but for one thing, I need to know it was written properly onto the device, but I can't read it back. That would be insecure. So the only way I know is to do a mock algebraic eraser key exchange, which I do.
Authenticated.
Yep, so I authenticated, and that worked. The other thing that this thing did is it copied up to a verified device that's using conjunction with that server. The public key, the serial number of this tag, and it's stored up in so now basically done with this.
And the ability to add your writing that key. Sure.
This is our use only.
Just to add the would be generated offline, and the public parameters would theoretically go down to program in 14 hours. And this is also something that would be outsourced to the actual tag silicon vendor manufacturer. This is not something that would ever be done by our customers. So this would be
So, Louis, you missed, I don't know if you saw this chart here, but what I just showed you was this step here, key injector, which is only the private key in the tag. I ship these tags to the customer, and they then put the image on in the certificate and other notational data.
When you added the amendment,
With this particular design, there are a number of features that it's really up in the air depending upon who the customer is. You can do it. You can assign passwords to files. The method that we're using right now, kit tags, is that most files that can't overwrite, but we maintain the ability to take the key back from them, to take the tag back, and erase the whole thing again. And then we can feed so that once we don't ever erase it and start again, they just throw it away if they get with it.
so if they were to reuse, they'd need keys.
Yeah.
So you can use it again with another tag.
Okay, so here we have a tag. It has a serial number on it, and it has a private key, and it has a tag ID, but it's not necessarily assigned to any customer yet. So that's the next step. So to do that, that's it. We log into back and we have a call sign that we can use to assign tags to any given customer. So again, this tag, well, I'm not going to take it up, but this tag here is 1045, which is assigned because I just did it. So in this case, I'm going to assign to one of our testers. Mike Donovan has his own corporation, MD Corporation.
As do I. As does Louis.
Yeah, so we've set up so far. Barron Farmer, Lewis Parks Corporation. But we'll use Mike. And then I save it from the list, and now it's assigned to him. Now, I'm going to log out. They want to go through a session of provisioning it with images and so on. So he logs in. For his company is that he has to basically register all the products that he wants to produce and that he wants to for the technology. So this is. He's registered 2 products. A wine product and a test product. And then he has to assign an instance of one of those products. And he does this using this iTorch. He's logged into our cloud backend, and he looks in the tag file. He edits this, or he edits this, the product he's created. In this case, he's going to use our kind of one.
And this varies, correct?
Well, as we start customers, we basically and fashion or pharmaceutical or spirits or anything like that. Feature and fields change definition based on their particular. It's all transparent to the customer. So that can be. So I'm going to save this away. Okay, so now he's ready to put the initial certificate on. And to do that, he uses our another piece of software we wrote called Signet. But he has to log into it because the software has to know who he is, and it has to authorize some of these rights to the tags. So he is local. So the first thing he does, not for every session, but when he first gets this piece of software and installs it, the first thing he has to do is he has to create here for himself. We gave him we want him to create it as it to him because we don't want leaving his machine. So he creates here, he exports it to us, and we send it back to him, and then he imports it back into the software. And then he can use it for all sessions. Yes.
Easy to.
So here he pulls down and finds the tag assigned to a product yet. And because he actually did this assignment up in the cloud, it assigned the wine, and it knows the creation date. And he has an option of putting an image right on to the tag. So he's going to write this image onto the tag. So the software is creating a certificate and writing it to the tag, hash of the image file to portion of the certificate. It's also writing the certificate some notational information, name, various user IDs, and product information. And again, that changes from industry sector to industry sector. And some checks as well. And now, if I take my Verify application and authenticate it, that's the label, that's the wine label that we just injected into the certificate. And it shows you that we have the ability to push down messages after the authentication, the dashboard as well. And this if the app knows, it prompts the user, would you like to see our space say yes? They can see, usually it's much fancier than this in itself. It's when you testing the software, but you can see some, 30%.
Basically HTML code.
It's all done in HTML, so you can put images.
So he's rolling out in terms of user size. I mean, how many tags per second are you going to use? subdivision.
Right.
That's it for this week.
I have a 3-page document, sort of industrial version of this. So we have a industrial reader that handles many tags per second, handling built into the equipment. So we have a plan for that, working part-time, who's converting this desktop web-based application so that the controllers of the equipment will be able to manage it rather than like we're doing here. Well, the Net Warrior application, they're using this to tag, and nobody can use the phone until it's authenticated with the tag.
But yes, it could be used for credentialing, absolutely.
I have the combination of card. You don't have the card.
That's the office.
So it's a marginal, those environments are be small enough. Centralized servers and for, 50 locations, 100 locations. There may be some value. Yeah. I would say 500,000 separate, and you don't know where the bottom lines.
Where would you put this?
But
This is an example form factor. You can put into, you put into a different format. You
Okay,
can
so
put
why
it
you want something?
Here it comes.
Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes.
Yep.
No,
No, that's already happened.
You're a little.
Champagne.
the city of liquor store is trying to find just the right one.
So it could be very, very tiny.
Well, the antenna has to be a certain size. So for this particular chip, the antenna is never going to be less than maybe 3/4 inches. Because again, phone that's powering the circuitry on the tag, and it has to do it inductively. So, or I should say, the chip is it is 2 micrometers, but the overall pack can't. The antenna, it's a really inductor.
Louis has it in the scene.
It's right. No, it's behind the tap. Behind the label.
yes, you already. That's it. The picture.
You don't see it?
The provisioning.
You just. Probably didn't need it for a while. Time to regrade it.
What's your office? That can happen too. So what made this a good model too?
It had a quirk in it. There was no grading on this top.
And like, it has an adhesive factor.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
All this?
I'll shut down if there's no other questions.
But it's not the challenge, really is 2.5 million of these things. Waiting for my part.
I was gonna say,
What if a customer
well, we all have kids.
buy in 2001, they're not gonna
Probably because it came back. And so version. And the smart into the signature into the tab. It's what we done in this is just a, you know, it's just evaluation kit showing people how they scale it up. And, okay.
But you say that, but they weren't just on the phone, whatever, we'll watch the video and delete it. Because it's not connected, but at it has locations with it, and they actually have 1,000 locations that he can go to. Now, I don't think it's just a pure drop down and scroll in certain ways, but they literally have a field they show us that drop down shows the 8,000 locations. So there's some scale some of the people are dealing with. So I understand.
Okay. Thank you.
This is what our family have. We have that line from the
Just to make we stop doing anything.
We use the names and passwords. We can do it any way we want. We can have a minimum, you know, how we want it.
we control the over, I'm going to say over the week, what is happening in the Google Play Store now. But because of how we loaded it, and whatever, nobody can get one.
Right.
Unless we authorize it.
And I'm just thinking of the information security requirement. The client's provision for the client, they're going to want, you know, are they going to integrate with their regular environment, or are they going to have a separate standalone app that someone is assigned to, and then they'll have password policies that they have to implement in the application.
Right.
And so if they said they require 15, we need a 15.
Yeah.
For the clients.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, no. I just a bunch of apps and stuff in environments that will be sunset. You have to check the password.
The framework endorsed by people and approved by the
If we have a rule certification, to make sure we meet them.
For the password?
Yes.
Yeah, if you set the constraints for the password, and you reassign the password.
So the client use that, or are we sending it to them?
We set them up with an initial account and password. And after that, they have go over any of the security features of this stuff.
No.
There's a lot of pieces that are talking to each other. I mean, it all happened really quick and you didn't really see it happening, but he's logging into our server in a very secure way. You put the phone plugging in.
I'm going to talk about the
Only the polygraph mirrors in the good.
That was good. This is not code programming.
Still recording or? It's recording.
So next one.